A few weeks back, on the very day it was released, if I remember correctly, I picked up the new Rise of Cobra game, Sight Unseen, Review Unread. I did this for primarily two reasons. One, it's G.I. Joe, come on. Two, I'm kind of an idiot. Now I said review unread, but technically I did read one, and it was not kind. But then I got to the end of it and saw that it had been written by a woman. A woman? Reviewing G.I. Joe merchandise? Ho ho ho! I'll trust the opinion of a woman if it's about something that women know about, like cosmetics or shoes or sexual experimentation with another woman. But my chauvinism ended up being my downfall yet again. She was right about everything. She was so right. Oh, it's awful. But it isn't all bad news. There's actually a huge, sparkly light at the end of the tunnel that single-handedly, well, technically double-handedly, as you'll see in a moment, nearly makes up for all the bad crap. Two of the unlockable playable characters are Beachhead and Firefly, my absolute favorite Joe and Cobra, respectively. Now, some of you may be thinking, how can that possibly sort of almost carry a game that's crap otherwise? From where I'm sitting, it seems like it should be obvious. But for those still mystified, check the following. For the sake of establishing context, I realize I'm not the best-looking guy in the world. In fact, at the risk of being vulgar, I believe the phrase pussy kryptonite may be relevant here. Okay, so keep that concept in mind and check out the amazing transformation that's about to take place. Ooh, look at me! I'm flippin' beautiful. I feel so confident and super sexy. Oh, I'm leaving it on for the rest of the review. Kinky. And possibly the rest of my life. I haven't decided yet. And when I finally do take it off, I'll be shockingly revealed to be a hot chick. Oh, if you'll indulge me for just a second, there's something I have to try. And it's probably going to suck because I'm not very good at doing voices. I can just barely do my own. This will actually mean something to some of you. The rest of you just sit tight for a second. Okay, here goes. The crowd ain't the only thing that's going bananas. Okay, back to the game itself, which I forgot to mention is the PS2 version, because I'm a peasant caveman. I'll kick off this cavalcade of bad points with a sort of backwards good point. This game has allowed me to check a couple of items off of my gamer bucket list. Like in the past, I've read reviews where reviewers said, "Oh, the camera is so awful it must be controlled by the bad guys." Before, I've always either not played the game in question, or played it and found that the reviewer was exaggerating. But in this case, it's the literal truth. The camera must be controlled by Cobra. That's the only logical explanation. If the camera existed in human form, it would be a naked man perched on the arms of your chair, teabagging you in the eyes and crapping in your hair. Hey, that rhymes. Let's see what happens when I give it the Springsteen treatment. He's a naked man standing on your chair, putting nutsack in your eyeballs and poo in your hair. Down at the abandoned steel mill. It doesn't have to be a steel mill, of course. It can, be a refinery or auto plant, a zombie factory, as long as it's industrial and defunct. Bucket list item number 2. The auto-aim is primarily interested in silly background items that aren't even enemies. Oh, you hyperbolic reviewer. That's obviously completely true! In every new little skirmish area you enter in Rise of Cobra, there will be these little transparent boxes with stars in them that you can shoot for bonus points. Now, I like that you can shoot them rather than having to actually walk over and risk life and limb to pick them up. I'm less enthusiastic about the fact that the auto-aim values them more than everything. Say you're entering an area with 3 Vipers and a little bonus box. The auto-aim will go after the bonus box first, Not a big deal. A quick flick of the right analog stick will put the reticle back on something actually dangerous. But then after you've killed the first Viper, rather than cycling to one of the others, it'll go right back to that little bonus box, because it just loves it like a lab monkey loves crack. Ha ha! Bonus points are more important than life! I just recently finally picked up a PSP for the sake of one game, but I also picked up Pursuit Force, which uses an auto-aim function, and, in a twist conveniently relevant to this review, is one of the only examples of when auto-aim should be used. If you have to drive and shoot at the same time, fine, but if it's just an on-foot affair, I actually would have loved, and I mean loved in like a literal erotic way, to have seen a G.I. Joe game use something similar to Pandemic's engine that was in the LucasArts Mercenaries games. That would have been just delightful. What we get instead actually bears some resemblance to the 1992 G.I. Joe arcade game. Does anybody remember that?
Yo, Joe!
I love how Snake Eyes has a voice like he doesn't, and it appears to be vaguely Asian like he isn't. Anyway, Rise of Cobra is a lot like that arcade game if you replace the incessant fun carnage with sporadic unfun carnage. I have a feeling this is running a bit long, so I'm going to kind of rush through the remaining complaints. Difficulty that runs the gamut from cakewalk all the way up to aneurysm, generally skipping the area in between. Repetitive gameplay, bland visuals, although not that much worse than on the current generation systems. So this game evidently doesn't push the PS3 and 360 very hard at all. On the right side, the character roster is nice and hefty, with a selection of popular faces. I already mentioned Beachhead and Firefly. Gung Ho and Shipwreck, nice. Duke, who I don't really care about, but I guess you kind of have to have him. Snake Eyes, who is sadly a little bit underpowered. What do you mean I can't kill a tank with a sword? That's lame. But there are just as many questionable choices in that regard. Heavy Duty, whom no one cares about or wants, especially when he could be Roadblock instead. Ripcord, C Heavy Duty, except with Stalker as his replacement. So basically both of the black guys in the game should be done away with and replaced with better black guys. Kamakura, everyone's favorite lemon lime ninja. I'm kinda on the fence about him. Agent Helix, the obligatory crap new character. And perhaps most curious of all, Backblast, who I don't have a problem with and actually quite like. I'm just not sure why he's there. He was an incredibly minor character back in the day. His game incarnation resembles said character not at all. And perhaps most strangely, at the time that he becomes available, he's easily the most useful character in town. His weapon just does stupid amounts of damage, and you can fire it over things, so you don't have to hassle with honorable combat. It's like this weird and wonderful fireball-heaving, grenade launcher, flamethrower love child. I call it the Graflame Bastard, which is way better than its actual name. I can't remember what its actual name is, I just know that Graflame Bastard is better. In conclusion, don't buy it, don't rent it, don't even think thoughts about it, unless you're just a super die-hard G.I. Joe fan, which I kind of am, or if you've got a raging balaclava fetish, which I certainly do. Oh my, yes, that is quite nice.